Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great Saturday so far. So far, we have Jefferson, Northeast Weather, Anna, and Caleb all in the chat, as well as everyone else who is watching who may not be chatting. Or if I missed you in chat, glad to have you guys all in here. Figured I would do a briefing here because I've got enough time to where I could talk about all of the severe weather threats that we have on the table for us over the next few days. So let's go ahead and switch. Make sure that's good to go. I think I'm good to go. Yeah, let's go and switch on over here. There we go. So, yeah, let's go ahead and just dive it straight on into it. We'll start with what we are currently dealing around the U.S. with. Just some general thunderstorms back out here in North Carolina, Virginia. Not really seeing much. Didn't want to chase this bad of a setup. This is a really rough one. Really biggest threat is heavy rainfall. Gusty winds up to about 40 miles per hour. Really not looking at much there for Virginia, North Carolina. And the slight risk for severe weather could see some hail up to about an inch in diameter, maybe 60 mile an hour wind gusts there, but not really much, especially compared to yesterday. We had quite the prolific severe event across South Carolina, Maryland, in northeastern Virginia yesterday. Not much of anything across North Carolina with the exception of far south and southeast NC. So didn't really get much in this area, and this is the region that I chased. This is the region where I normally chase at, and the only areas where we really saw much was down towards Charlotte and then down towards Wilmington. So I didn't see much yesterday. So there's always another day to chase, but didn't really end up with much in our northern enhanced risk that we had in place yesterday. But now we have today's risk for severe weather, also back out in Kansas and Oklahoma. That's where our main risk is today. Potential for a spin-up tornado or two, centered over Wichita all the way back down into Oklahoma City, almost as far south as Wichita Falls, Texas, so a decent-sized 2% tornado risk there. I don't see anything like over the top coming out of this. It doesn't look like a ridiculous risk for severe weather or some sleeper strong tornado threat. I don't see a lot with this whatsoever. It looks like an ordinary low-end slight risk for severe weather. So main threat is going to be hail upwards of an inch and a half, inch 0.25, or rather inch and a half to 1.75 inch in diameter. So probably right around the realms of a considerable severe will be possible today. Damaging winds, would be shocked if we get greater than 70. I really don't think we'll see much more than 70 mile an hour winds today. And then, like I said, spin up tornado or two. So really a pretty low end slight risk for severe weather. Don't really see much happening today. Marginal goes all the way back up into Nebraska, southwest Iowa. So if you are in this yellow area, just make sure you have a weather radio on, your phone's fully charged and it's turned up. Just kind of pay attention to the skies there, but nothing ridiculous is going to come out of this threat. It really doesn't look that good in my opinion. Tomorrow might be a bit of a different story. There's a lot of uncertainty on how many storms will fire, but tomorrow should have a okay environment for the potential of all severe weather hazards. So the biggest issue with tomorrow is probably how small of a boundary we have. It's going to be a very small window for a few storms to fire, specifically in this area, right where the slight risk is. And if they do get going, there is a chance we could see a few tornadoes tomorrow. I could see us getting the potential for at least a tornado or two tomorrow, most likely from about noon Eastern time all the way until probably about 8 p.m. Eastern time. There's a chance for an isolated supercell or two to fire out here. Now they will be south moving supercells, so that's what kind of has me iffy on the tornado threat. They're going to be moving from northwest, kind of like from up here near Fort Worth down to the southeast, and that's not a very favorable motion for tornadic supercells. So I do think we could see a tornado or two, just simply because of how favorable our environment will be for tomorrow. Damaging winds, actually a little surprised. They only have a 5% for damaging winds. I wouldn't be shocked to see a 15% get introduced somewhere south of Dallas, north of Houston, northeast of Austin for tomorrow. I think we could see a gust as high as 70 miles per hour. And then hail also will be an issue. Pretty surprised they have that as significant. So according to them, I mean, we could be looking at potentially hail as large as 2.5, 2.75 engine diameter for tomorrow. So it looks like hail will be the biggest issue for tomorrow if you live out here from south of Fort Worth down through Killeen, all the way into Huntsville, College Station, and the Woodlands in east central Texas. Monday, that could be a day where we end up covering for a few hours here on this channel. It looks like Monday is probably going to end up being one of the higher threats for severe weather we see out of this sequence of severe weather from tomorrow into early next week. We should see an explosion of severe storms on Monday, very late Monday afternoon across nearly the whole slight risk. Let me just show you how intensely these storms could explode along I believe this is going to be a kind of a warm front, if I'm not mistaken. It should be a warm front. Yeah, they're going to explode off of a warm front. That's pretty interesting. So if I go all the way out to this, watch how fast they explode here. So this is 5 p.m., right? Nothing at all, pretty much nothing, just a couple of rain showers. And then 6 p.m. they explode. 7 p.m. everything just pops off all across this area. The tornado threat, my opinion, should be low. I don't think we're looking at a very high-end tornado threat or anything like that. We could get a 2% or a 5% tornado risk, but much more than that, I don't believe is going to happen. The environment is not favorable. It is not favorable for tornadoes up in this area on Monday. So I expect damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour and large hail, potentially around 2 to 2.5 inch in diameter, will be the biggest issues all the way from North Dakota back down into northeastern Colorado for Monday's threat for severe weather. Now, a little bit south, that's where things could be a little bit more interesting. These storms may be a little bit more discreet at first, close to 3 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, and if that does happen, that area might have a low-end tornado risk as well. So I do think we could see a brief spin-up tornado, most likely on the southern end, and then potentially on the northern end of our risk area as well. I don't see anything too crazy. Overall, over the next 3 to 4 days, I don't see much of a notable tornado threat. Now, Tuesday, I think Tuesday will be the biggest day for severe weather that we've seen, and we're going to see out of the next 4 days. I believe Tuesday will be the biggest. How big is definitely a big question mark. Right now, it looks very linear, which means a line of severe storms. So it looks like it should be a line of severe storms that form sometime in the late afternoon, kind of like what we'll see Monday, should be near the same as Tuesday. But Tuesday's risk will be a little bit larger in terms of size, as well as probably in magnitude. I do think we could see a few spin up tornadoes on Tuesday. Anything more than that, like, a strong tornado threat or anything even remotely close to a tornado outbreak, I see that being very unlikely. It's just this system as a whole doesn't have a lot of wind shear. It doesn't have a good mid-level jet. So if we go to our mid-level jet, it does T-Smith, doesn't it? It's funny you say that, because when I woke up and saw it, I immediately thought it was a breadstick. It literally looks like a breadstick. That's exactly what I thought right when I woke up and saw it this morning. I do want to go here real quick. So Tuesday is June 3rd. So this is literally Tuesday's threat. And this is a horrible trough. If you guys have ever seen like troughs that cause severe weather before, this is not what it looks like. Typically we have a very large, sharply amplified, very strong trough. And this is a horrible trough. You have a really large but extremely weak trough. I mean, much of this is probably 20 to 40 knots. Yeah, 20, 35, 40, 41, 45. I mean, much of this area is just at a 40 knot jet stream. It's really horrible. That is not favorable for severe weather. However, you can see it. It's very hard to see. But see that little kink? See that little brown line and how it divots down like that? That is a very, very subtle and extremely weak, very weak, negatively tilted embedded trough. So that's why I believe we could see a little bit more of a tornado threat in front of this area. I think we could have a little bit more of an elevated tornado risk along our slight risk for severe weather. Just simply because of that tiny little kink over Kansas and how it's going to likely traverse. See how it traverses up to the northeast? It starts here in like Colorado in the morning, and then it traverses all the way up into Iowa. So I think that could help at least a little bit with our tornado threat, but I don't see this being like, I don't see it being like an outbreak or strong tornadoes being possible. I still don't see that, but I do think Tuesday could be a little bit better of a tornado risk compared to, say, today, tomorrow, or Monday. I think Tuesday will be the most heightened tornado risk. So yeah, we'll see how this stuff plays out, but just want you guys to be hyper weather aware if you're any of the risk areas. There's tomorrow's risk, slight risk, level 2 out of 5, going on into, wait, did I say tomorrow? I apologize. This is today's slight risk for severe weather. Then this is tomorrow's slight risk for severe weather. Then we have Monday's risk for severe weather, and then Tuesday's risk. So all 4 days are slight risks for severe weather starting today, but they are all for hail and specifically wind. Wind and hail will be the biggest issues. I don't see many of them being prolific tornado makers. We'll keep an eye on Tuesday, but Tuesday doesn't look that good either in terms of severe weather. Then we could go ahead and switch to a bit of our longer range models here. So let's go to here. Thank you, Hoops, for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. Hello to you as well. Hello, Pez, Random Guy, and Marcus. Can Tuesday be a moderate risk? Marcus, it is garbage. I would be surprised if it even goes enhanced. If it does go enhanced, it might be for like a 30% wind. That was percent, not even significant, just percent. Let's go to here. Now, I haven't checked this, so okay, good. It is still fixed. Let's see. All right, Lucy, so I forgot exactly when you said you were leaving. Rain. Ignore that. Ignore that. That is, ignore the Category 3 hurricane hitting Florida. Ignore that. Yeah. According to the GFS, you got a hurricane hitting that area, but yeah, shoot, our GFS is a big biased right now, so let's go to We're going to have to use the Canadian. I know that sounds horrific, but I think the Canadian's going to be a bit better than the GFS. So rain chances will probably be the highest on the 9th. That will probably be your highest rain chance. After that, I can't say for certain, but I'm sure there'll be another chance for rain towards like the 12th or the 13th. So I would say you're probably going to have 2 days where it's a bit rainy. Which, that's okay, you know, as long as it's just 1 or 2 days, that's okay. Hopefully just not the whole week, though. And it also, by the way, it also looks to be overnight, so it's not going to, like, ruin your vacation. It should be overnight, according to these models at the moment. This looks to be overnight. Like, for this model, it rolls in very late on June 9th, and then leaves very early June 10th. I doubt it would be severe weather. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I doubt it would be severe weather, but definitely going to keep an eye on it. I do think you're going to get rain there. I think you will definitely get rain in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, sometime between that time frame. But hopefully it's just not too bad. TRG using the Canadian model was not on my bingo card. I have to, you know why? Because the Euro, it has this low definition precipitation, whereas for the Canadian, it has a bit higher precipitation, higher resolution. And the GFS, it has a big time hurricane bias right now. If we look at the GFS, I made a tweet on this earlier today. It is consistently shown anything from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane hitting between Louisiana and Florida from like June 9th to June 11th. That's just not going to happen. It just, straightforward. It's just not going to happen. That's just the GFS being the GFS. I would not listen to that whatsoever. I made a tweet on it. Anything more than 120 hours out on the GFS in hurricane season, anything past this point, which is June 5th, it just shouldn't be taken seriously if it shows anything crazy. So, like, anything out from that, this is just all going to be inaccurate, and I'm just not listening to it. I do think we could have some tropical development in the Caribbean into the Southwest Gulf, but I doubt it would be a Category 3 hurricane or something like that. Just the GFS being the GFS, man. Man, that would be crazy, Lucy, if the one time you go on vacation into South Carolina this year, there ends up being like a Category 3 hurricane. Hey, look on the bright side. You'll be able to meet me. I'll be in Myrtle Beach if that happens. I'll be very close to you. I was there last year. We had tropical storm, no, Category 1 hurricane hit South Carolina. Me and Lucky went down to Myrtle Beach. So there would be a bright side. You'd be able to meet Lucky and I. What states got hit hard this year? Oh my word, Arkansas. Not even close in my opinion. Arkansas by a milestone, and then probably Illinois, then Mississippi. Arkansas, Illinois, Mississippi. That would be my top 3 for states that got hit the hardest during tornado season. It's coming to a close. Today's the last day of May. Also the 12th year anniversary of the largest tornado to ever strike the earth. 2.6 mile wide tornado. El Reno, Oklahoma. Unfortunately killed, was it 4 or 5 chasers? The most notable one, of course, being Tim Samaras in the Samaras family. Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and I know a few others were killed as well during that very large 2.6 mile wide tornado. It was either 4 or 5. 4 chasers. I apologize, all. I don't really know the full TwistX team. I'll look at it right now. Let's see. I know Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, Carl Young, and I know there was at least one more. There was one more who is not as well known, unfortunately, kind of swept under the rug and People don't mention him as much, but he also lost his life. He was a chaser as well. I want to find his name because not a lot of people mention him. Let's see if I can find it. Weather Channel guy. It literally, I look it up and it only shows, it shows the main 3 of TwistX team. But there's more people that died in that tornado. But yeah, Tim Samaras, man, that Richard Henderson. There you go. Richard Henderson. Thank you, Pez. So he was also killed during the El Reno tornado. 12 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago today. And Tim Samaras, I mean, he's still one of the best chasers to ever exist. Hate how we lost him so early, too. I mean, he was just starting to get very, very historic data. One of the best. Yeah, there was also 4 civilians who also died in that tornado too. That thing was insane. 2.6 miles wide. All right, let's go ahead and pull this back here. So this is looking at the European model run for our severe weather threats here. So for Tuesday, that's the little tiny trough right there. Not that strong, not very potent. It is quite well amplified. You can definitely make out a negative tilt there, angled from northwest to southeast. And that's what's going to cause our severe storms across this region here going into Tuesday. Mainly damaging winds, large hail, a few spin-up tornadoes will all be possible. We'll keep an eye on it for a potential heightened tornado threat, but mainly damaging winds and large hail will be the biggest issues. Going on into Wednesday, that threat will likely still continue, at least to some extent, across portions of this region in here. The greatest threat will probably be focused across New Mexico and Texas on Wednesday. And then going on into Thursday, we'll probably continue with that low-end severe threat across portions of the plains as well. But none of these look like good tornado threats, and not a single one of them look like good tornado threats to me. Not a single one. There we go. So this is for Friday's threat. I mean, none of them really look that notable, so... Yeah. But just this upcoming sequence, it's going to have a lot of moisture, and there's going to be a lot of CAPE. And once you get those two things mixed in with a little bit of a jet stream, then it ends up causing damaging winds and large hail. But that tornado threat, you're going to need a lot more focused of a jet stream. These tiny little troughs that have barely any flow to them, they don't typically cause too many tornadoes. Now, they do cause tornadoes. They're mesoscale days. We see them very, very frequently in especially early June, very late May into pretty much all of June, I should say. We see these mesoscale days. So just, we're going to continue to watch them closely. They could sneak up with you and see if any of them can become any notable tornado threats. But right now, mainly damaging winds, large hail look to be the story for the next week or so. Main tornado threat looks to be probably on Tuesday, but that tornado threat will probably be still on the lower side of things. So tornado season is already over, really. We're starting to go down in terms of tornadic activity. It really is already concluded. We don't have any large troughs in the picture in the near future. We're going to continue to see severe weather. Severe weather, though, we're going to keep seeing that for the rest of the year. Severe weather is all year round. It gets a lot less active in November, December, and January. Those 3 months are your least active months for severe weather, but you still can get severe weather in all 3 of those months. But our peak tornado season is late March, April, May, and early June. So we're starting to exit our peak season now. We're starting to exit our peak tornado season. So just for those who weren't in the stream earlier when I went over all the risks, here's today's risk for severe weather. We got a slight risk for severe storms from Wichita, Kansas, down through Wichita Falls, Texas. That includes the metro of Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Lawton, Oklahoma included in that. The main threat today by a milestone is damaging winds of about 60 miles per hour, potentially gusts as high as 70. Some large hail also can't be ruled out, up to about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.75 inch in diameter will be possible. And then a spin up tornado or two will all be possible across this risk area. So not expecting a ridiculous risk for severe weather. The main issue is mainly damaging winds, and it's very isolated. It's not like a huge line. Let me go ahead and show you the simulated future radar here. It's very, very scattered. Only a few people will get severe storms today. So this is just one of the many model runs, and this shows a couple severes northeast of Oklahoma City and a cluster over Tulsa tonight towards 4 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. So it is an overnight risk for severe weather. So that's why I recommend you have your phone fully charged. Make sure it's turned up. That way you can, you can get woken up by any alerts that may come through. So it doesn't look like a crazy threat at the moment. It really just looks like hail, damaging winds, and a very low-end tornado threat. Thank you, Mark, for the $5 donation. So you can contact me through Discord. Links in the description. My email is public on the channel. If you go to my channel page and go to the About section, which I forgot how you do it. They changed it. Let's see. So you go to my channel. Yeah, and then you click on More just under my name. You click on More, scroll all the way down, and then there's my email address if you want to contact me there. I haven't done any podcasts, though, so I'm not too sure about it. I'm not big on that stuff, but I'll definitely do a podcast eventually. But yeah, you're welcome to contact me either on Discord or my email. Okay. And then into tomorrow's threat, this is the SPC outlook, official outlook for tomorrow. We have a slight risk again, level 2 out of 5, south of Fort Worth, north of Houston, Texas. So this is mainly going to be for the exact same risk. Tornado risk, brief tornado or two will be possible. The hail risk is a little higher tomorrow. Potentially hailstones closer to 2.5 inch in diameter will be possible across this area. Damaging winds, right now they have it at 5%, but they will most likely upgrade it to 15% somewhere in here. If confidence does increase with the risk for damaging winds, we could see winds as high as 70 miles per hour tomorrow. And it's the same ordeal. Not everybody's going to see severe storms tomorrow. In fact, it's only going to be a couple of people. We're probably not going to see much more than about 3 to 4 supercells fire tomorrow afternoon. And wherever those fire, they're going to be able to produce large hail, damaging winds, and potentially a spin-up tornado or two. Tornado threat is definitely a little bit higher tomorrow compared to tonight, just simply because we do have better ingredients. So this is your supercell composite, which basically it combines ingredients that tornadoes need to form into a very simple number from the scale of like 0 to 35. And tomorrow we're going to have about an 11 or 10 to 11. So that's going to allow for us to see most likely a couple rotating storms tomorrow. I do think tomorrow has a better chance to produce a spin-up tornado than tonight. And then we could go on into day 3. This is probably going to be a day that we are live for a few hours. Most likely we're going to need to be live for a few hours here on Monday's threat for severe weather. We'll see about it though, because if that tornado threat's not very elevated, I might just stream for an hour or two. But if we do end up with a pretty elevated tornado threat, then we will end up we'll end up streaming for a few more hours. So this is what we're looking at for Tuesday. Nope. Monday. There you go. Monday. Monday's threat. This is Monday. I'm trying to think what day it is. Monday's threat. So just a large line and cluster of severe storms capable of producing 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. The main hail threat will be focused across the southwest corridor, where those storms could be a little bit more semi-discrete. Might have some hailstones up to about 1.5 inch in diameter. Show that a little bit better right out in this portion of your risk area. And that is for Monday. Then going on into Tuesday. Tuesday, there's a very high chance Tuesday is going to be a coverage day. It looks like that's going to be one of our, if not our most widespread severe threat out of this sequence. About 13 million people under the gun for severe weather across this entire yellow area. And that is your slight risk level 2 out of 5. So that goes all the way from almost central Wisconsin all the way down into Fort Worth, Texas. A huge slight risk for severe weather there. Main threat, once again, damaging winds, 70 miles per hour possible. Large hail up to about 1.75 inch in diameter will be possible. And tornado threat's a bit tricky, but I do think Tuesday will have the greatest tornado threat out of all these days. Exactly where, my best guess is probably across the kind of the southern side of that slight risk, across Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. That might be where our tornado threat is the highest for Tuesday. Check another model run real quick, see if I can add on to that. Yeah, probably the area I've circled. That looks to be where our greatest tornado threat should end up being. So, yeah, just make sure you stay weather aware if you're in any of the risk areas. None of them look very crazy. All of them are damaging winds, large hail, and then, of course, a few tornadoes will be possible over the next 4 days. But that tornado threat, I think it's going to remain at 2% to 5%. I don't think we're talking about tornado outbreaks or strong tornadoes or anything like that. There's no huge troughs or no strong troughs. So I don't think we'll see many tornadoes. That's why I'm unsure about coverage over the next few days. If we have like a big time wind or hail threat, I'll stream those, but they have to be very elevated. Tornado threats, even if they're 5% or 10%, we go live for those. Whenever we start talking about tornadoes, those are what we cover the most on this channel. At least for tornado season, we cover tornadoes the most. We try to be live for as many warnings as possible. So, yeah, also, hurricane season starts tonight. It starts tonight, June 1st. That is the first official day of the Atlantic hurricane season. It starts at midnight tonight. The first advisory comes out. Is it 2 a.m.? I think it's 2 a.m. will be the first NHC thingamabobber. At least of the full season. They do start up outlooks on the 15th, though. They start outlooks on the 15th, both in the Pacific and the Atlantic, but the Atlantic doesn't officially start until June 1st. June 1st is when it officially starts. Okay, there you go. What's up, Jesse? Glad to see you in here. You got under a tornado watch, Pete? I did too. I got light rain. It was wild. I got light rain, dude. I wonder if Lucky is sleeping through this special weather statement. We'll wake him up because this is going like almost right towards him. Yep, he's sleeping. I also want to go over this over here. So this is our tropical storm. For those who may not be aware, we did get our first tropical storm here in the Eastern Pacific over the last, I think it was named, was it yesterday morning? When was it named? Well, it's not going to tell me. It might have been yesterday morning. Either yesterday morning or the day before that. One or the other. And now it has encountered a lot of wind shear, so there's not much left. It's really just a lot of clouds. A lot of clouds. Could have some gusty winds of about 20 miles per hour here. But it's really died out. Morning of the 29th. Okay, so it was the day prior. It was Thursday morning. It was Thursday morning because our hurricane season forecast came out the day this got named. Yeah, so that's Alvin, first name on the EPAC list. Could even get the next name here in about a week or a little over a week. Got a 40% chance of tropical development out there in the EPAC again for the next 7 days. This one doesn't look as good on the model runs. I think only the GFS develops it, so this one doesn't look nearly as good as Alvin. But yeah, we'll have to watch for tropical development, especially as we get close to June 6th. Once we get close to June 6th, that's when this thing could definitely try to spin up a very brief tropical storm. Cyclonic WX, yep. That and Tropical Tidbits are my first and second go-to sites for hurricane season. Inside of the eye, yeah, it's peaceful in the eye, but the only problem is once you're in the eye, you got to get through the other eye wall. I also want to mention, man, I haven't pulled this up in a hot minute. What even is it? SWPC, is that what it is? Yeah, this. So we are under here in the US, we are under a G4 watch. There is a chance for a G4 watch for auroras over the US tomorrow night and into possibly even into Monday morning as well. The best viewing time looks to be probably about whenever it gets dark. So about 9 o'clock, wherever you are, 9 p.m., all the way through about 5 a.m. is going to be the best viewing window in terms of time. So very, very late tomorrow night. Peak is probably going to end up being somewhere around midnight, if not a little after midnight. So we'll see how it goes, but likely going to see a G4. And there's 5 Gs. There's G1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're already anticipating at least a G3, but most likely a G4 tomorrow night. And there is a forecast thing they have, but I don't know where it is. Let's see. Yeah, but there's a chance you could see it if it does get to G4. There's a chance you could see it with the camera like all the way down as far as like northern Texas, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. If it gets very, very strong. Now, if it's weaker, it's probably not going to make it past Tennessee or Virginia. And if it's a bust, it's not going to make it past like Kansas or Missouri if it's a bust. But the last time we had a G4, I was able to see it almost with just my eye, not even a camera, out here in Southern Virginia. So if you have a good camera, and this thing actually stays at G4, you'll most likely be able to see it. Trying to see. I want to see if there's a forecast thing I could show you guys, because it's difficult to visualize it without their sight. Okay. This might be it. Nope. In Death Valley? What you doing in Death Valley? What are you doing in Death Valley, bro? Maybe buy a camera. That would be. You would have to get pretty lucky. That might be a little bit too far south. But yeah, there is a chance. I would say there's a chance, but it's going to have to be a G4, if not nearly a G5, for you to see it that far south. I think there is a chance. Arkansas, the more north you are, the better chance you're going to have to see it. But I will say this, smoke. If you look above my face cam, I will full screen it a bit better for you guys. We've got a big smoke issue here in the US. A lot of smoke. So depending on where that sets up tomorrow night, that is definitely going to create some issues for visuals, and also clouds. The best chance for your visuals to be ruined by clouds is going to be. Let me get a site up real quick for it. So tomorrow night's the best viewing time. So we're gonna go till about like 05Z. So that's 1 a.m. Eastern time, and this is the most accurate one we have. So the best chance to see auroras is probably you're gonna have to figure it out with both the smoke forecast for visuals as well as clouds, as well as how strong it's gonna be. It's gonna be a tricky one. It's gonna be a tricky one. Let me see if I can get this up here. Where is visibility? Okay, there it is, visibility. So tomorrow at 05Z. All right, so much of this region here is going to have smoke during the aurora tomorrow night. This area right in here. A lot of this area. So much of Arkansas, Missouri and Illinois are probably going to be, that's going to be really rough to see it. So best viewing areas would probably be Nebraska, Kansas, and especially South Dakota. South Dakota, Nebraska. Those would be probably the two main states. Also, like Northwest much of Pennsylvania probably. Much of Pennsylvania will probably be good. Eastern, Central Ohio could have some smoking issues going into Western Ohio, but as long as you're not like in Arizona, New Mexico, I think you'll at least get an opportunity to see it, or along the Gulf Coast. So I don't think the Aurora will make it, unless it's like ridiculously strong. I doubt it's gonna make it past like right here. And like I said, Death Valley is going to be like right on the edge of it, right? So anywhere south of that, I highly doubt you'll be able to see it even on camera. I highly doubt it's going to make it that far south. But it's very difficult to forecast how far south it's going to make it. It comes in waves. Comes in waves. Sometimes it gets very, very, very bright pillars, and then other times it just falls right apart just as fast as it increases. So I would say the best chance, like I said, best chance is definitely in here, because you're really far north. You have minimal smoke, minimal clouds. Best chance is definitely here, and also up in here too. Over here, so like Ohio, Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska. Also up into Washington. You can't see it, but the whole state of Washington, the whole state of Oregon, Northern California all have really good chances to see it as well. So those would be like the 3 areas where I would really, really want to be for auroras tomorrow night. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oregon, Northern California, all of Washington, northern, northeastern Ohio, west, northwest Pennsylvania, eastern Michigan into Ontario. But there's definitely a good chance we could see it as far south as like northern Mississippi, northern Texas, southern Oklahoma. You could probably end up seeing it tomorrow night on camera. Especially if you have newer cameras, say like the newest iPhone or even the last 3 years of iPhones. Probably an iPhone 11 would probably be able to capture it pretty well. Just anything that has a good night mode. Phones capture it very well from my experience, at least. But it has to be like a phone released in the last 3 years. iPhone 16 for sure, yeah. Pez, you might have a chance to see it just with your eye. But who knows? It might just be a full-blown bust tomorrow. There's no guarantee. There is no guarantee. We're going to stay hopeful. Hopefully we can see it as far south as like northern Mississippi and northern Texas. That would be awesome. Legacy, you're not too far south. However, Canadian smoke might impede on visuals. There's a lot of smoke over Tennessee right now, and that's probably going to be the case tomorrow night. So it might be a bit hazy, but you should still be able to get a chance to see it. It's very, very difficult to know how potent the auroras are going to be. I'll keep an eye on it. I have an app on my phone, and I'll probably be out and about tomorrow night. But then again, I'm not big on auroras, honestly. Honestly, I've seen it already like 2 to 3 times. That's enough for me. But I'll probably go find a field and stay in a field for an hour or 2. I have to get this site up. Actually, I might have saved it over here. Let's see. All right. That's not the right one there. Oh, that's definitely not the right one. That's in Alaska. Northeast Ohio, yeah, most likely you'll get a really good view of it. Mainly after 9 o'clock tomorrow. It should peak near midnight. That's when I'm thinking it will probably be the best. Actually, yeah, there's a forecast. The SWPC, which is the Space Weather Prediction Center, they say from 8 to 11 p.m. 8 to 11 p.m. on the night of June 1st. So that is in Eastern time, though. But still, so anytime between 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern. That's the best time frame. From 00Z to 06Z. And let me show you Z times real quick. Just so you can see the conversion. Okay. So right now it is 20Z. 20Z is 4 o'clock Eastern. So this is the conversion table. Switch you back here. So anytime between 00Z and 06Z. So from this Z to this Z. From top to this 06Z. That's the best viewing time. So from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. in Eastern, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central, 6 p.m. to midnight Mountain Time, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Time. And of course, it's going to have to be dark. So 5 p.m. in California, you ain't going to be able to see it. And that's for tomorrow night. All those times are for tomorrow night for the best viewing time. I know a lot of chasers are heading up into western South Dakota, western Nebraska for tomorrow. See some auroras. I bet some chasers are going to stay there till Monday for Monday's severe threat in that area. Northeast Oklahoma. Probably not. It's very, very hit or miss today. You are in a marginal risk today. Marginal to slight, so you're near the edge of it. It is very, very hit or miss. Not everybody is going to be seeing storms, but you can see our best model run does show storms rolling through 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, Central Time. Tornado threat will be low, but the main threat's damaging winds of like 50 to 60 miles per hour. Some isolated hail near an inch in diameter. Those are going to be your main threats. One of these storms has the chance for a tornado. We can't rule out a tornado with one of these storms that roll through in the overnight hours, but that threat is very low. And then I believe you're in the threat also for all hazards on Tuesday. Yeah. So Tuesday is your big day. Tuesday, you are dead center of a slight risk. So that would be the day I'm watching the most. Tuesday looks to be your best chance for severe weather. But I'm probably about to wrap it up here. Just a brief summary. Many of these days are just going to be damaging winds and hail today. Damaging winds and hail in that yellow area, specifically tonight. Tomorrow afternoon, around 4 p.m. Central, damaging winds, hail. Definitely could see a tornado or two if supercells can really get going. Monday might be the day we are doing coverage. But still, damaging winds, isolated large hail, few spin-up tornadoes possible. And then Tuesday will most likely be the biggest day out of all these days. Specifically Tuesday, from about central Missouri back down into northern Texas, that looks to be where our biggest risk area is going to be. Draw that a little bit better for you. Right in that area should be our greatest risk for severe storms on Tuesday. Auroras are going to be possible tomorrow. It's very difficult for me to say exactly who's going to have the best chance, but if I were say if I were chasing the Auroras, right? Definitely the place to go is like northern, northwestern North Dakota, South Dakota, western Nebraska. Those are very good areas. All of Washington, all of Oregon, they have a very high chance to see auroras. Also, eastern Michigan, northeastern Ohio, western, northwestern Pennsylvania, into western New York. That area is really, really good as well. Those are the three main areas where I think they could be really, really good for auroras, especially like west central North Dakota. But you got to be careful because there's probably going to be smoke on the eastern side and clouds on the far northern side. So you don't want to go too far north and too far east in North Dakota. You want to be in like the perfect spot. So that's like this area right in here is probably going to be where the auroras are the craziest in the U.S. tomorrow. Time frame is from 8 p.m. all the way till about 3 a.m. Eastern tomorrow night. But yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new with a notification bell set to all. I'll be live sometime over the next day or two. I don't know exactly when. My schedule's been all over the place recently, so I apologize for the lack of content. But the good news is at least the weather's been on the more inactive side, tornadic-wise. So yeah, have a great rest of your... What day is it? Saturday. I'll see you guys either tomorrow or Monday. We'll see which one. Minnesota. Yeah, there's going to be some storms in Minnesota. Likely on Tuesday if you are in southeast Minnesota. As well as Monday. Definitely Monday. Much of Minnesota could see winds and hail. But yeah, tornado threat. Can't fully rule out a spin up tornado, but it will likely be on the lower side. So I appreciate the mods from Mon Chat. I appreciate every last one of you guys for tuning in. Just a quick 1 hour briefing. I just wanted to get on here and talk about the severe threats and the aurora and the tropical systems, just to keep you guys aware of everything. And yeah, have a great rest of your Saturday night. I'll see you guys possibly tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Monday. Like I said, schedule's been a little bit hectic, but glad I could at least get on here for an hour. So hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday night once again, and I will see you guys in the next live stream that I do. Stay safe, watch for your weather. Goodbye. stay safe, watch the weather, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream that I do. Goodbye.